So I'm Al from Hell Maidens, and I'm here today with Kevin Perkins and Chris Resnick. Now these guys are from the movie My Boring Zombie Apocalypse, and they've been shooting this damn thing all over town. How we doing today, Kevin?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Chris.
You too.
Hi, I'm Kevin Perkins.
Hi, and I'm Chris Resnick.
I'm the director of My Boring Zombie Apocalypse
And I am his editor.
in chief.
Glad you guys could make it over. Now you invited Johnny O a ways back to come out and get a bit part in your movie for the shoot that you guys were doing at Cynic's nightclub at the Rock Club. And Johnny drugged me and a couple of the Hell Maidens along, so we had to get you guys over here and talk to you a little bit about the movie. Now, when did you get started on this project, Kevin?
Oh. Well, it started, was it 2 years ago, with the Maryland version of the 48-Hour Film Festival.
Okay.
And Chris works at Fox 45, and he was on a team that they were going to be in the 40-Hour Film Festival. There's a few of them from Fox.
Yep.
And Chris called me up and he said, "Do you want to write the what you know?" And I don't know if you know what the 48-Hour Film Festival
I do,
is.
as a matter of fact. They filmed one of the episodes, or one of the clips was filmed at my old apartment in Fells Point.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's just down and dirty filmmaking. Like you've got 48 hours from conception to completion. And
Write
it's
it,
just
film it, edit it.
edit. And I mean, it's almost a cheat when we've got an editor this good,
Right.
who's on a deadline. Seriously, like he's on a deadline every day at Fox 45.
Right.
He's got to turn the news around that quick. So we've got extremely talented people on that end.
Photographers that have to get it right the first time.
Exactly.
They don't get it a second time around. So
Exactly. So we've got this amazingly talented team. And they asked me to come on board, and I said, "Wow, yeah, I'd love to." So we go to...
When you desperately need locations with no notice, he's a good guy to go to.
So,
Nice.
having done my job for 15 years, I know a lot of people
Previously,
over
yeah.
Baltimore, so I just call up and pull favors.
All right, so you guys started out with this 48-hour film project, but you already have a history in the movie industry. And why don't you tell us a little bit about where you got your start in all that?
Well, for 15 years, roughly 15 years, I've been in publicity and promotions for the movie studios, for Fox, for Paramount, for Miramax, you name it.
So the big boys.
A local agency. We do the publicity and promotions for the studios here in the Baltimore market. And at first, I started with an indie agency with my boss, and then she sold the company to a nationwide agency called Allied, and I've been with them since.
Okay.
So I've been immersed in film, sort of the tail end of film with, once the film is done, I'm out there pushing the film.
Gotcha.
But that's actually how I met Chris, was through that job, because since he works at Fox, they're a media partner, and often we'd go to Fox and we would do publicity and we would do promotions.
Co-promotions
with Fox,
and things
exactly.
like that with Fox.
And
right.
Chris, actually, I lobbied hard for him to get on our junket list, and he actually gets sent to New York or LA, and he would go out and interview the movie stars when they have a new film comes out. He goes out for the junket weekends, and he interviewed Edward Norton, and you did
Nice.
Christian Bale, and who else?
Yeah. I mean, when Hairspray came out, that was the first big one.
Yeah, Hairspray was the big one.
It's
Gotcha.
tough. I mean, I'm the senior video editor at WBFF, so if I'm going to go out to these things, like it kind of takes me out of the action on a Friday, so
Right.
it's rare that I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
But Hairspray was so huge, obviously, because it was Baltimore.
John Waters and
Yeah, and that was a little overwhelming for a first one, because I mean the cast
That
was
was
so huge.
The original one is a little before both of our times.
Okay,
so
yeah,
I wasn't doing this
yeah.
job back during the original John Waters. Although I've known John for 15 odd years now, and he's just
great
a
guy.
fantastic guy. Yeah.
Is he going to be a zombie?
I would, I don't know. Well, and it was after we finished the 48-Hour Film Festival, and we wrapped on Murder on Alphabet Street, and he just kept after me. He's like, "Well, we need to shoot this zombie flick because it's just so much fun." And there's other friends that I really respect as far as like scripts go and whatnot, and I threw them the idea. And these guys are really hard on me, right? Like if I throw them a bad idea, they'll go, "Oh,
This
that's
is bullshit,
not."
Kevin.
And I had actually one friend of mine said, "Can I steal that idea and run with it?" And at that point, I was like, "Okay, I really respect your opinion." No, you can't. You can't, because if you like it that much, we've got something.
Somewhere along the way, you guys ran into Scream Effects, special effects. And, working with those guys like we have, You know, they came out to our Carnival Hell show, did our girls all up. We had Tina, Tenacious Hell, who had half her face missing. She was a rotting zombie that ate one of the models on stage. And
Oh shit! Yeah! Fucking zombies!
what the fuck just happened?
Fucking zombies!
Jesus fucking Christ! You know, some of the other mayhem things we had that night, the chainsaw C-section and all that. Those guys.
I didn't hear about
Oh, you didn't hear about the chainsaw C-section?
I just like how casually it's like,
The chainsaw. Well, I'll have to show you some footage of that. That was a good one. Do you have any doctors out there in the audience? We need a doctor. Oh shit, we got one coming right here. He's gonna have to do a C-section. Yeah! Oh my God.
These guys are awesome.
They are awesome. And, you know, from what I understand from Rob, they didn't have a lot of experience, really, when they hooked up with you guys.
New. Mark Wenger and Rob Thompson.
Right.
I've known them forever because they were part of Kim's Crypt.
Yeah,
And I go way back with Kim. Like, as long as she's been doing a haunted house, I've known her. And I read about her in a local newspaper, and I said, she's perfect when I have a horror movie coming out to be cross-promoting my movies with her giving stuff out to her patrons at her haunted house. And
Excellent.
we just
Yeah.
became friends.
And
So,
you try and time your movies, especially with a horror movie, you always want to try and time it close to Halloween if you can.
Yeah. I mean,
If
I'm
it
very
works
dependent
out.
on what the release date
Right.
is. But Kim has like this whole cadre of friends, family, like devoted disciples that just, follow her.
Horror,
So
yeah.
even if a horror movie comes out in August, she's got all these people she can tap into that love horror movies and help me promote a good horror movie.
Killer.
So anyway, Mark and Rob had done makeup for Kim for years, and when we started getting ready to work on My Boring Zombie Apocalypse, I said I'd love to have you guys come on board and do the makeup, and they always wanted to take their game to the next level.
Right.
So they're like, yeah, we're all over that. So we're adding people as we go, and then I get this random Facebook message from this guy, Scott Moore, and he said, I don't have a lot of practical experience, but, I'd love to be on board. And at this point, we're just starting out. We need, it's the more the merrier. So I said, yeah, let's, come and meet me for coffee. Let's look at some of your work. I looked at some of his work. He did this, the one effect that really blew me away was a part of the face bitten away and the teeth showed through.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that, I love that. And then he met Mark, and he met Rob, and they clicked, and it's like we knew this guy for 20 years. He was just one of us.
Damn.
He's just a fantastic guy. And so then...
Instant chemistry.
Exactly. And I think that was sort of the impetus right there for, and I forget who it was, if it was Mark or Rob, who started the company. So they started the company after we started shooting the movie.
Oh, okay.
And then their game took off, and it's like, it's great. It's because because I started making this little film, all these people are getting really fired up and they're doing their own thing and they're making their own thing bigger, and I love seeing it. I love helping my friends.
Right.
I love seeing growth like that.
Well, Steve Park did the Zombie Jesus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, who's like talking about Steve Park would take a whole day right there, the talent level involved there, so I don't even want to get started.
He's the only one that was willing to actually see you in the loincloth
Yes,
that close to you
yes.
in order to...
We're practically brothers, so he's like,
Yeah, the short
I'll
straw
paint
that
you
way.
with a loincloth on, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw a couple of pictures that leaked to Facebook
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that particular scene, and
Yeah.
I was very proud of you that day, Kevin. I really was, because I try and deface religion in every way I can,
I'm not a religious person,
Right,
but
me
I
either.
respect other people's religion.
I do too, and I respect other people's beliefs.
It's a long story with me and religion, but anyway, I explained the scene to my parents, who are, they do have their beliefs, they have great religious beliefs, and I wanted to explain to my mom. I said, we are not being sacrilegious here. What we're doing is we are pointing a finger at like your your TV televangelists,
Right.
or your religious types that take advantage of people just to make a buck.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I was going with this scene. Like, after the zombie invasion happens, how would religion change?
Right.
Because obviously the dead are coming back. They're not going to heaven.
Right.
They're not going to hell. They're not going to purgatory.
They're not going to
or
the afterlife. Yeah.
I mean, you could say that you could say that it's karma and they're coming back in a reincarnation, sort of reincarnation.
Body, soul
sort of.
separation.
Yeah. But, you know, we weren't trying to make fun of Catholicism.
Gotcha.
We just picked Jesus because it's I don't want to say it's a big target, but it's a very recognizable icon.
Everybody.
You
knows
couldn't do the
Jesus.
same thing with
Yeah,
Buddha.
Exactly.
And
Right.
the great
Well, you could, but it would be kind
the
of
way that
twisted.
it worked in the
You
script
need a lot
was,
more spray paint.
A lot more paint. Yeah.
it was nice how it worked in the script with the theme of resurrection. You've got
Right.
Lazarus, you've got Jesus,
Right.
and then the whole thing with zombies. Is it a resurrection of sorts? But anyway, within our film, we have 3 little fantasy sequences that the young narrator of the film goes through. And he doesn't definitively say it's one of them, but in his head he's working out these little fantasies. So the
Right.
first one is the government lab.
Government-
The spill in the government lab.
The virus gets out from the government
Exactly.
lab.
Then the second theory is terrorist virus.
Okay.
And then the
Clumsy terrorists.
clumsy terrorist. And the third one that we haven't shot yet is the comet scene. And then we segue from the comet scene into the religion scene. And we're not saying that's one of the theories, but it was serving 2 purposes. It's a theory, and it's also how religion has changed since the zombie invasion. So,
That's cool.
I think,
but yeah, we weren't trying to be
Just the whole-
sacrilegious. We were
Right.
trying to make a point.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's more of just like a what would happen to the world. It's more
Yes.
of a
Yeah.
fake documentary almost on if the zombies did come and they were more
Yeah.
of a pest than a threat.
And that's-
like, how would the world adapt to it?
Chris,
Okay.
Chris brings up
Versus a
Okay,
group
gotcha.
of survivors trying to get through it, it's more
Right.
of what would really happen? What would we really be dealing
And
with?
Chris nailed it. I mean, when I first started writing this, I love zombie flicks, and I love end of the world movies. I love apocalyptic
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
It's everybody.
Everybody
But,
does,
I think it's
yeah.
especially a teenage
That
boy.
imagining what could happen.
Yeah, it's a
you
teenage
know?
boy sort of
Right.
thing where you're like, it's like me as the road warrior, the lone
Yeah,
hero left
right.
alive up against whatever. So, but the thing that's always bothered me about zombie films, from a scientific point of view or from a logical point of view, is there's no way with slow zombies that America would fall. I have way too many redneck relatives with guns,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
did a little research. There's 9 guns for every 10 Americans.
Yeah.
There's no way if a slow zombie invasion happened that we
Right.
would fall. America we'd be out of order for like a month or 2.
Yeah.
It would take
Well,
out the
we'd get
homeless
it back.
population.
Yes.
and if we-
Yeah.
Yes, but the best analogy I can make to our film with a real world event is 9/11. When 9/11 hit, everyone said everything's going to change. Like, nothing is ever going to be the same again. But you know what? 2 months later, 6 months later, back to normal. And
Weeks
that's not
later.
that's not a slam against our society.
Right.
But it's human nature.
It is.
You can only maintain that level of hysteria for so long. The kids need to go to school.
Right.
You got to go buy groceries.
Trash
You
has
need to
got to
go to
get
the mall.
picked up.
Trash has got to get picked
Yeah.
up.
Reality TV has to come
Life
back.
goes-
Yeah, reality
Life-
TV has to start again.
Life goes on.
Right,
And you have
it's
to,
true.
your mind deals with it. And it's the same way with our zombies. The dead start coming back. We deal with it. Life has changed, but yet at the same time, life goes on. If you go on Netflix, if you go on a Blockbuster, there is a wall of zombie films.
Oh yeah.
And why haven't you heard of half of them? Because
Right.
they are, a lot of them, too many of them are concerned with like the gore. And
Yeah.
how far can we take it with that? But the thing that Walking Dead brought to it is they didn't forget the humanity.
That's true.
And that's like this very old school with the Romero.
Also, too, when you guys were talking about, the over gratuitous gore, it's like you said, it's not necessary, because we were talking earlier before the interview about the very suggestive angle of doing filmmaking or photography or anything, and how you lead people right to that door, and then you turn the handle,
Sure.
and then it cuts
Right.
off.
And
Then it's their imagination that has to
it's
take
always-
it to the
it's
next
always-
step.
Yeah, because the moment I see somebody's arm ripped off on screen, I can't
Right.
relate to it anymore because it looks great. It probably would hurt if your arm got ripped off, but
Right.
I've never had that done to me.
Yeah.
So for that moment, you're taken out of it. If you see the knife come up at the guy and you cut away from it, like we were saying, like with Psycho, you don't actually
Right.
see the penetration.
Less is more.
Less is more, because it forces you to consider the worst possible pain.
I mean, that's what people react to most too.
Yeah.
Because sound is.
Well,
Sound
sound I
is
think
so
triggers.
important. Yeah.
I think sound triggers a whole nother level. With it's one thing when you visually intake something. I know I can see something, and if it's far away, and it's scary, and it doesn't freak me out, But if it's closer, it might put a little bit more of a fright into you. But sound, you ever notice like sound, even sound far away, will scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, you come into your house, you come into the first floor, per se, and you hear some weird noise upstairs,
Yeah.
and you don't know what it is. And your fear instincts and everything they're right there.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So I really do think that sound has more impact on us.
Well, everything I've read, every filmmaker I've talked to have said, especially with independent films, the audience will forgive you a bad picture,
Right.
visually, but they won't forgive bad sound. People will walk, that sticks in their head, they'll walk out. And I think it might have even been Ed Sanchez who directed the Blair Witch Project. He's local. And we were talking, it might have been him that brought that up as well. But I've read that in a lot of books, I've seen a lot of places, the sound, just how ungodly important it is.
A lot of times, what's missing is more horrendous than, than having, like you said, sometimes too much.
I gotta say, doing sound is like probably one of the more fun parts of like the filmmaking process. Like especially in the editing bay. Like Chris and I were working on Billy Bob's Medicine Show and Zombie Hunt.
Right.
Here at Billy Bob's Medicine Show and Zombie Hunt Emporium, we offer the finest, cleanest, family-friendly zombie hunt in the whole U.S. of A.
And we're just sitting there passing the microphone back and forth and doing zombie noises. Just like,
Gurgles.
okay, you're.
And we got the widest variety of shamblers this side of the Mississippi.
Sorry. Oh, that was a good take. That was a good take. So we just had a blast just sitting there farting around with doing
that was
doing zombie modes on.
Yeah, we were trying to fake like the little girl zombie.
Your kids.
Yes.
And that worked because I was trying to do it at work, just like
Right.
And,
You're trying to do like a little girl.
yeah, the little girls. Like,
Right.
and I remember somebody walked by my edit bay, wondering what I was doing. It's like, oh, I'm trying to make a little girl moan. Wait.
Oh, that does not sound right at all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a little zombie girl moan.
Yes. I'm trying to.
Yeah, doing pickup sound was a lot of fun. And
Oh, man.
when we shot Billy Bob, when you look at the commercial, those are all real guns.
Yeehaw! You can get the old bitch to sign over the right.
Wow.
And they're firing blanks.
Okay.
So I had a very, very dear friend of mine, Chris Brown, who is raised around guns. He knows I was raised around guns, but he knows everything about guns.
Gotcha.
So I said, "You're the armorer on the film."
Yeah.
So he's got a huge collection of his own. Some of our other friends had them. We gave him a list of all the guns we have access to. Go out and buy blanks. So
Sure.
we went out. He bought all these blanks, and we're out on the set, and we're shooting these guns, and they're black powder blanks. So they sound they're twice as loud as a normal
Right.
gunshot, and there's twice as much smoke as a normal
see a
gunshot.
lot of
So they look good on film.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what we didn't stop and think about was the fact that these gunshots are going to just completely blow out the sound every time they go off.
Yeah.
So
the
we-
microphone
we
has
had
to
to
take
do-
that
we had-
millisecond to
We
reset.
had to do a lot of pickup sound with dialogue,
Yeah.
especially with Billy
See,
Bob.
and then shooting that one scene, it makes me like every time I'm playing a video game now or something like that, or just watching a zombie film where they've got a shotgun. Like if you're a zombie and I'm shooting you with a shotgun right here, like over and over, there's no way that you'd be deaf within
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then have a group of 6 survivors doing that on a city street,
Right.
trying to get through away.
We're out on this private property, so we can pretty much do whatever we want. We're a little leery about like noise ordinances and like the
course.
cops showing up. Like, what are you doing with
Yeah.
all these guns and shootings?
And
And especially
people that look like they're
one of the
coming apart
guns
or
was
dead
a
in
real.
blood and-
One of the guns we had was a real semi-automatic.
Yeah.
We couldn't buy blanks for it because the reason an automatic or even a semi-automatic works is because the compression from the previous bullet ejects the shell and loads the next
Exactly.
bullet.
So blanks don't work.
Blanks don't work. So
Right.
what do? We wait till the end of the day, and everyone's gone home except for the 3 or 4 maybe key crew members, camera,
right.
director, Chris, doing the I don't even know. And we just went out way in the back.
Sulking in a corner at that point, like, I want to go home.
At that point, we're fried. We've been in the hot sun for 12 hours. But end of the day, we just told Billy Bob, just go up, light that tree and light it up. And he did, and it was hilarious.
Don't have a gun? No problem. We'll rent you one.
You couldn't beat the look of glee on Billy Bob's
It was
face
legit.
I'm
when he was
sure.
firing
He was so
his-
proud.
I'm sure he was a happy camper, man.
Yeah.
Because that's a great feeling. I mean, I've only got to shoot a semi-automatic weapon once, and that is a rush, and you have no idea the amount of effort it takes to keep that barrel down,
Yeah.
because with each shot, it's just wanting to climb.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kevin Perkins.
Hi, and I'm Chris Resnick.
I'm the director of My Boring Zombie Apocalypse
And I am his editor.
in chief, Emmy Award winning. And you are watching our interview on hellmaidens.com. Please go see our film when it's eventually done.
So you've hunted lions in Africa and polar bears in the Arctic wasteland. You hunted the most vicious critters in the world. But have you hunted the most dangerous game? Man. Well, now you can. Here at Billy Bob's Medicine Show and Zombie Hunt Emporium, we offer the finest, cleanest, family-friendly zombie hunt in the whole U.S. of A. Thanks to a landmark Supreme Court decision, it is now 100% legal to hunt the undead. No civil liberties whatsoever ever. And we got the widest variety of shamblers this side of the Mississippi. Old, young, white, black, male, female, Republicans, Democrats, oh, feisty suckers too. We don't discriminate, and neither should you. I want that one, Billy Bob. Of course you do, son. Of course you do.
But Billy Bob, these zombies are so slow. Yeehaw! There is no sport in this for a real hunter.
Well, of course, that's no challenge for a real man. But how about after we pump 100 cc's of horse adrenaline in them? Now that's a challenge. Don't worry, cowpoke. We got your safety in mind, always. Yeah, they haven't figured out how to chew through the rope yet. And how about our newest original one-of-a-kind feature? Only Billy Bob's can offer you this. Hunt your ex-wife legally. If your loved one passes and you're next to kin, they're still legally yours to do with as you see fit. And that includes hunting and no killing them early and saying they was a zombie. Them CSI boys can figure that out. Damn. And it doesn't have to be your ex-wife. Long as you're next to kin, and we do need proof, it can be anyone. Your common law wife, your legally married wife, your kids, even Pop and Meemaw. Hell, your mother-in-law, if you can get the old bitch to sign over the right. Don't have a gun? No problem. We'll rent you one. We've even got a petting zoo for the young'uns. So if you want the finest zombie hunt experience, who you gonna go see? Billy Bob! Located at the former Walmart on Route 9, 1 mile south of Unpainted Huff Hines.
I got mine.
You sure did, son. You sure did.